I just look at it like Dez has got to. He's got to do some real soul searching. I think the Cowboys, in my opinion, they got to bring him to the table and say, yo, listen, dude, we either going to cut you or you got to take a pay cut.
To me, all it is with Dez Bryant is just go out there and prove it, man. I don't know what's going to happen with him taking a pay cut. I don't know. And if he does, we'll see.
What I am going to say is this. I would not ask Dez to take a pay cut, and I wouldn't cut him either.
I don't rock with the Cowboys.
Okay.
Let's just keep it. Let's put that out there. It's not going to happen, though. It's really not going to happen. I mean, they're gonna. I think they're really going to go to him and say, we need to either renegotiate your contract or we're going to have to cut you.
If they do that, it doesn't. The best thing for the Cowboys to do, if they think they're thinking about cutting ties with him, is to trade him. They're thinking about cutting ties with him, is to trade him. Is to trade him. Is to trade him. Is to trade him. So here we are. We're going to talk some NFL talk.
Let's go.
So here's the question to the table. I'm going to ask: are you surprised that Dez Bryant is still a free agent at this time?
Ooh, no. God damn.
That's
a good one. Yo, Marc, I want you to
spicy
start.
Talk. That's spicy talk.
Let's start with you, Marc.
Kid, I am not surprised. I'm not. Because I'm on record. I was the one that was sitting here telling you guys all of the ills about Dez. And y'all kept telling me Dez is this, Dez is. I said, the way y'all see him, not other people see him like that. He has a lot of deficiencies. The fact he's not signed right now goes to a further contest that Dez Bryant is not as advertised. He fell off after that injury. Go ahead, Avery, since you're shaking your head.
Can I say? I can jump in there.
Please.
I think the only reason Dez is a free agent is he shot himself in the foot. I think he skipped on that Baltimore situation, and that would have been perfect.
He would have got signed right away.
That would have been perfect for Dez Bryant. All you need is one team to sign you. Am I surprised that he's a free agent? I don't know. His production has obviously dropped from his highs. I mean, that goes without saying. But I don't think that's all Dez's fault.
This is July, isn't it, right now?
Yo, You're dead wrong. Here's why you're dead wrong. At the end of the day, this has everything to do with timing. Dez didn't want the contract from Baltimore. Who knows that Dez is sitting around saying, yo, I want to be in a training camp. You know what I'm saying? Like, these guys, believe you me, it may not be reported out there, but there's a team that's going to go through. There's a team that's going to go through training camp, summer camp, whatever the hell it is. They're going to evaluate their talent. They're going to loosen up some roster spots. And they're like, Dez is available. Let's go get this guy. How much he gets paid, I don't know. But
nothing.
You know what?
Well, you know what, though? But it's what I'm saying. It's not surprising to me.
Avery has been consistent about this.
It's not surprising to me.
Because from the jump, Avery has said, let's wait till training camp. Training camp gets going to see when Dez gets signed. He has been consistent about
happened.
I will say, yes, I'm shocked, but kind of not. But I'm more on the shock side. Because, all right, after he turned on the Baltimore deal, we seen the shuffling going around in the NFL. We seen other players who were signed already, and we're thinking, if you go back to the past, you think, yo, Dez is better than this dude. But not now. You can see people don't see it like that. By some of the dudes that got signed later on in free agency, and even past that, like towards the end of free agency, you're like, damn, Dez is still sitting there. To see Dez still sitting now with training camp about to start this weekend, it's shocking to me.
Can I say something about that? I think this is more like what Avery was saying before about the establishment smacking you down. The fact that Dez turned down that Baltimore deal, I think some owners might look at that and say, "Oh, this dude isn't humble. We're gonna try to humble him a little bit before we go ahead and go pick this guy up." That's just my opinion. I think Dez is still talented. Do I think he's number one receiver talent? No, not that anymore. But he definitely can help somebody.
Well, let me just add this, because what I find interesting, y'all keep bringing up the Baltimore situation, which he turned down, but he turned that down 12 weeks after almost free agency.
Okay.
So
wasn't that right away?
No,
I thought that was right away.
No,
that was right away.
No. Dez was sitting around for a while, and then okay, maybe 12 is a little bit bloated, but what I'm saying to you is this:
like now,
when it was first reported that Dez was going to get cut. Mm-hmm. Who at this table thought that he would still be around at that time? Let's go back. Let's remember history.
I'll give you that.
And when we heard that Dallas was going to cut him, everyone thought right away he was going to get scooped up.
Right.
He didn't.
He did. Dez turned that down on April 25th.
But
And free agency started.
When NFL free agency start. Hold on, go ahead, y'all can talk.
Go ahead.
this is what I'm saying. I agree with that point. I'm not disagreeing with that point. But the real thing is first of all, what happens after a guy that has the notoriety of Dez and gets released? What normally happens? All these reports come out of this team is interested in him, that team is interested in him, and to your point, kind of, we don't know whether a team has any real interest in this guy. This is just them talking.
Right.
Dez can say, "Oh, I'm gonna go to the Redskins to shove it to the Cow." We don't know if the Redskins want that dude. You
And
know
the
what I'm
Redskins
saying?
came out and said they was
Yeah, so
they
a
never
lot of
wanted
this
him.
is
He was never on their radar.
manufactured news. So if I'm going to agree with your point, he may not have garnered any interest. But my thought has always been a guy of that age, right? And a guy that has quote unquote
What is he, 20,
regressed.
29?
Yeah, but he's quote unquote regressed,
And
right?
he's at that age now you're looking at.
Yo, a lot of them dudes don't want to go to training camp. A lot of them dudes don't want to sit through that.
But also,
Mark made good points too, because if you're looking at the way the NFL is going with wide receivers, you can't. We're not just looking at a guy that's going on the outside. You got to be able to do multiple
Absolutely.
things
I agree.
as a wide receiver.
And to Mark's point, where I'll say, like, I do agree, the majority of wide receivers have been signed. You know what I mean? Or they're 37 and they not going to another team or whatever it is. As I'm looking at the list, a lot of guys have been signed, yes. But I think what Dez's issue, in my opinion, what Dez's biggest issue is his ego, obviously.
I don't think it's his ego.
He's got a little Carmelo in him.
No, listen.
Jesus
listen.
Christ.
What? What's
the reason why I say that.
What I'm going to say is this.
Sorry.
What I'm going to say.
Word.
Listen.
It's the reason why I say
Sitting
that.
here as a Cowboy fan, and I'm going to say it, we overvalue Dez. And
Disclaimer: not everybody at the table is a Cowboy fan.
I said sitting here as a Cowboy fan.
Then you
myself,
said we. Then you said we.
As
I
guys,
don't want to
Cowboys.
confuse the. I don't want to
I
confuse the
respect that,
viewers.
man.
I respect
As-
You know what I'm
as-
saying?
respect that.
Giants red. I'm wearing. That's
But what I'm saying to you is the love we had for Dez, we didn't want to see Dez for who he became. And I remember a lot of things was thrown at Dak Prescott. It's Dak's fault. It's this. It's that. And I
knew
kept
that- I knew-
saying,
I knew
that
this
was
was
coming
going
around.
in.
I
knew
kept
that was
saying,
coming around.
yo,
I want to jump in on that though.
Yo, I kept saying it's not Dak. I said, yo, Dez got a lot of issues with him when it comes to football on the field because it's his limitations. Nah, it's Dak. Dak needs to do this. Dak needs to do that.
Don't do that.
Don't
Don't
do
do
that.
that.
That's
Don't
not
do
what we
that.
said.
Don't do that.
We said it wasn't all Dez. It was partly Dak.
Exactly.
Don't do that. And
Exactly.
you put it all on Dez. Pause.
That's what it was. Look, I think in his prime as a non-Cowboy fan at the table, in his prime, Dez was a problem. He was hard to guard and all that, and he played with a quarterback that understood his strengths and weaknesses. Dak is part of the problem because to me, Dez at his best was never a huge separation guy. He was a guy that used his physicality to get open.
Yep.
He was a guy that would high point the football. If you threw it up to him, he was gonna go get the ball. So the fact that he may have lost a little bit of a step and he can't use his physicality to get separation like that anymore has caused a bit of a problem. The fact that he has a quarterback that might not necessarily know where to put the ball to put him in the optimum position. And I know Marc is going to say, yo, receiver, you got to catch the ball. Absolutely. But it's part of that. Like, you know, if Dez is catching it high up here and you're delivering it down here or somewhere else, I think it's a symbiotic relationship.
chemistry, man. It's
chemistry.
It
Those
goes hand in hand.
Their chemistry just ain't work out, man.
Yeah.
It's 31 teams right now, as of July 17, feels that he is not worth bringing in right now. That's all I know.
I got
So,
you.
Yeah,
as
but
much
could
as
I-
that's being said,
Wait, Mark, there's
at the
another
end of the
side of
day-
that.
What's the other
Another
side?
side of that.
What's the other
Are
side?
31 teams saying to themselves, is he worth bringing in at that rate? See, Dez has valued himself at a certain number. That's another thing that we're
Untrue.
not talking about.
Untrue.
That's not untrue.
Dez has never put out a number that he would not.
Hold on,
pay.
hold on, hold on.
His agent, we not
Hold on,
saying
hold on.
that.
I said Dez never
No.
put out a number
Besides
that
that,
he said.
he doesn't have to put out a number. What was the Baltimore contract that he turned down?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I think it was 3 years.
3 years, 21 million, $7
$21
million. So that means he's a $7 million receiver. What that might mean is if he's turning down $7 million a season, I'm not willing to pay him $7 million a season.
Right.
So
If
why
I'm
am I
like-
even going to
think
make
about
the
it,
call?
Mark. If you say, "Yo, I'm not playing for that," or "I'm not coming on this show and recording for that," and then somebody else looks at what you turned down, you think they're gonna be like, I'm not paying you more than that.
Right.
You're not worth it.
Okay, that's
So hold on. So
But it's all about his value.
So that's my point. That's why I gave you the other side of it.
I got you.
That's all I did.
Right. And that's why I said his value right now, at the end of the day, isn't 31 teams feel that he's not at a value to bring him in. That's what I said.
The telling part is going to be, hopefully it doesn't happen, but somebody loses a key receiver, which most likely will happen because it's football. Training, the first week of training camp, second week. And if wide receivers start going down for whatever reason and Dez isn't picked up, then that's really
That's
telling.
huge.
But wait,
I agree with
listen,
that. I agree with that.
listen. But let me just say this to you: even if Dez is picked up, it's you got to prove it.
Yeah, you got to prove it.
Type of thing.
He's at that point.
He's in a
Yeah,
proven
no question.
situation.
Because you could be gone at the end of the third week of the preseason, like Victor Cruz with Chicago last year. Like,
listen, I sit here and tell you that's
Victor
right.
Cruz was a great giant. Yeah.
Right now. Yo, these shameless plugs, man.
I'm just saying, Avery been doing it for a few weeks, man. I'm gonna get my football season. I'm just getting ready for football season. We almost here.
we using that word great loosely.
Very loose.
Great giant. That's all I said.
Very
Great giant
loose.
for a couple years. That's all it was.
But
man.
right now, like I said, I'm not surprised. I am not.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Because I think we overvalue Dez. And as much as all the things that came out about his football ability, his skills, he never raised that bar.
My question, and nobody like to hear, did Tony make Dez? I asked that a while ago. Did Tony
we
make
used to
Dez?
talk about that all the time. Yeah.
I'm going to sit here and say I think the injury hurt Dez.
Oh, yeah,
and
without
I
question.
think that's the biggest part about coming back from the injury he had. That is because it's a 2-year injury. Remember we were saying it's a 2-year
Julio Jones
injury.
said it. Julio said Dez would not be himself for about 2 years.
He broke his foot or something like that,
Yeah,
right?
right.
Yeah.
The Frank's fracture.
Yeah.
Lens Frank fracture.
Right.
Whatever.
Something like
Yeah.
that.
So in turn, did Dez come back too soon? See again.
It's competitive, man. It's hard. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta play your way through that, though. You
I'm not mad
can't
at it.
take the full 2 years
But
off.
right
as
now,
I know.
even you go into training camp, even you sign him the first game of the season, you gotta know Dez might not be in 2019. The NFL might not be there for him. It could be a
That's
wrap.
true.
Bunch of
That's
young
true.
dudes coming in. He's older.
That's what it is.
But a lot of
you can
first
say
round
injury
talent-
prone.
Yeah.
Not listen, we missed a very huge part of this conversation.
What's up? What's up?
A very huge part of this. We talked about is Dez, his production, where he's at. We talked about does Dez want the contract? He turned down. But nobody's talking about what we spoke about before. Do people want what they deem to be the headache of Dez? See, that when you start looking, but we all looked at that Dallas Cowboys special. And if you look at that from a fan's point of view,
I didn't watch it.
okay, but Marc, you know what I'm talking about. Part of me was like, at the end of it, watching, I'm like, I kind of see why they got rid of Dez. You not productive, and you like this.
Yeah,
he's somewhat
Absolutely.
disruptive,
And
man.
remember what I
Like,
said.
You know what I'm saying?
We as fans overvalue Dez, and we drafted him. We brought him in, we loved him.
I hate to bring it back to the Cowboys, but people are willing to put up with the headaches if they think that you can get the production. And we're talking about
that's the
Greg.
problem.
Talking about Greg Hardy.
Am I
Greg
gonna
Hardy
get
is
that
like,
production?
you're a big headache media wise. We're gonna hear it, but you come in here and give us 16 sacks.
People forget about
We'll
it.
deal with it. We'll deal with it.
And I don't know that Dez.
Oh, but yeah, exactly. You're not producing these
sorry.
sacks. Why are we
I don't
here?
know.
Why are we
But
here?
let me just throw something out there, which is funny. And I just had to throw this out there. I thought I had to go back and do the research. I thought Dez took a knee and that he was being blackballed.
damn.
I was like, yo, I'm trying to
damn.
see, like, yo, nobody's bringing this dude in, and yo, he has no training camp invites at this time.
Wow.
Think
Listen,
about it.
if you
Has he been blackballed?
if you saw, and I encourage you to watch it, and I'm not even being funny, I encourage you to watch it. If you saw him with his
All or
coaching,
nothing. All or nothing.
yo, his
But
coach,
wait.
he's sitting there. You can tell, like the coach was like, "Damn, this dude don't give me a break." Like, yo,
But yo, let me bring this up, and I think Banks brought his name up. Bum ass Victor Cruz got 2 more chances after that injury. He got 2 more chances after that injury.
It was 2?
It was 2 more chances after that injury. He went to Miami, and then he went to what's the name? So I'm like, yo, if Victor Cruz was able to get 2 more shots at it after that, come on, man. Really? That disrespectful is real. I'm being real. Dez was much better than Victor
but
Cruz
again,
was.
but hold on, wait, just to take it a little bit further, real quick. you coach youth football, right? One of the most important things you talk about when coaching youth football is the kid coachable.
That's any sport though, not
but
just football.
If you look at Dez, like I said, yo, who's the wide receivers coach? Dooley?
Yeah.
Yo, he gave that guy a headache every time in the meeting.
Everything he said, man, he was It's
What
like,
was he saying? I want the ball.
Just
Coach, I'm telling you, you gotta watch it.
You gotta
Coach,
watch it, man.
just in his ear every 5 minutes.
But it's an inside look.
Yeah.
At what you see and probably what the word is around the league.
Let me ask you a question though: was that inside look put together, edited to make Dez look that way?
That's a good point.
I don't know, man.
It's possible. It's possible.
Very true.
I'm definitely going to say it's possible.
That could have been over the course of many hours of filming.
I actually do got a source, and my sources tell me that guy is a known headache. I told y'all that a while ago. He's a known headache.
Keep saying it, man. But listen, but don't believe me. I was only right. So
Look up.
Yo, thanks again. This is Our Take. Peace
Shout out
out
to Victor Cruz. Salsa, baby.